Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds and welcome to another video review. Today I'm looking at the Thermaltake Toughpower 1200W power supply. What's included is the user's manual, noise preventive silicone pad, modular leads, power cable, 4 screws for mounting the power supply in the case, and the power supply. The Thermaltake Toughpower line of power supplies range from 550 watts to 1200 watts. I will be reviewing the 1200 watt model, which is enough power for today's hardcore computer systems. Now, how is this wattage determined? To understand that, you need to know what rails are. Rails are basically well-regulated transformers which convert domestic current into the voltages that your computer system can use. And there are essentially 2 different rails, the 3.3/5 volt rail and the 12 volt rail. In this particular case, the approximate maximum peak output of the 3.3/5 volt rail is 250 watts and the 12 volt is 1200 watts, which is essentially how the wattage of this power supply is determined. The 3.3/5 volt rail is responsible for the motherboard, memory, PCI cards, and so on, while the 12 volt rail is responsible for the hard drives, optical drives, fans, CPU, video cards, etc. Also, some might be interested to know the peak amps on each rail. The plus 3.3 volt is 30 amps, and the plus 5 volt is also 30 amps. Now, unlike some power supplies that only have 1 or 2 plus 12 volt rails, this model has 4. The plus 12 volt 1 is 20 amps, the plus 12 volt 2 is 20 amps, the plus 12 volt 3 is 36 amps, and the plus 12 volt 4 is 36 amps. But the combined plus 12 volt current is 100 amps maximum. There are a couple of important things to remember when selecting a power supply. The first is wattage. Determine how much wattage you are going to require by the amount of hardware you will be installing. Generally speaking, a medium to high-end gaming rig would require a 500 to 700 watt power supply. If, however, you are going hardcore and have a multiple video card setup with lots of other hardware, select a power supply that's above 700 watts. Second, it should be at or above 80% efficient at typical load. The efficiency of this power supply is 87% under typical load. Third, it should meet the latest ATX and other current standards, environmental directives, overvoltage, undervoltage, and other protections. This power supply meets all current standards. Fourth, I'd recommend getting a power supply that has APFC. APFC, or Active Power Factor Correction, is something that also assists the power supply in being more efficient and therefore stable under load. APFC basically reduces total harmonics, corrects input voltage, and it allows for full input voltage range. Thankfully, this power supply has APFC. Finally, select a power supply that has enough leads for your setup. Let's have a closer look at this power supply. Right away you'll notice that it's longer than most. This is due to the high-performance quad plus 12 volt rails, triple transformers, and EPS structure on the inside. The housing is steel, so it's fairly heavy, and they include a massive but very quiet 140 millimeter fan. Note that this fan is recessed, so will fit in most ATX cases. Along with the fan and the many ventilation holes, this power supply will remain cool in almost any environment. Here's the power cable connection and the power switch. This power supply has lots of leads, and they're all sleeved, which reduces cable mess inside the case and will improve airflow. The main motherboard leads are hardwired into the power supply and can't be removed, but the peripheral and video card leads are modular. This modular design makes connecting and disconnecting leads a snap. It also means that you only need to use the leads required for your particular setup. Additionally, the 4-pin Molex leads have easy grip connectors which make connecting and disconnecting hardware simple. Finally, have a listen to the 140mm fan. It's no surprise that this power supply performs exceptionally well. This is not a product that's intended for the budget market by no stretch of the imagination, but rather the hardcore market. Folks who have a dual video card set up with lots of other hardware and are overclocking would definitely require a power supply like this. Now, the power supply is quite long, so it might not fit in some mid-tower cases, and of course it's going to be really expensive, but overall this is a 100% kick-ass product. Again, my name is Rodney Reynolds. This has been another video review. Be sure to check back very soon. I will have a brand new one for you then. Also, pop it on my website at www.3dgamerman.com. And while you're there, you can go into the forums and register. And remember, registration is completely free. Also, keep in mind, you can find out a lot more on this product in the forums. And as a final note, if you love watching my video reviews, please remember to help support 3dgamerman.com. If you wish to support, please visit support3gm.com. Until next time, take care. I will be reviewing the and the plus 5 volt is also 30 amps. Now, unlike some miles of law, but there are a couple of important things to remember. I can only say remember correctly, remember. With more and more higher wattage requirements and the required requirements, this is an amazing product. It supplies 2,900 watts, baby. That's next year.